The soft hum of conversations filled the upscale restaurant, an elegant blend of whispered confessions, clinking glasses, and muffled laughter. At a secluded corner table, Ethan Cole sat alone, swirling the amber liquid in his glass, his blue eyes fixated on the melting ice cubes that floated lazily in the depths of his whiskey. Valentine's Day, a day he had once scoffed at, was now just another evening where control reigned supreme in his meticulously structured life. Control. It was everything to Ethan. His empire was built on it. Calculated deals, flawless negotiations, and cold decisions that left no room for error or emotion. Love, regret, and nostalgia? Unnecessary complications. At least, that's what he had always told himself. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The flickering candlelight threw shadows against the mahogany walls, a dance of light and dark that felt strangely poetic. As Ethan lifted the glass to his lips, his gaze unintentionally drifted across the room and landed on a ghost from his past. There she was, Hannah Brooks. Time hadn't touched her, not in the ways that mattered. Her chestnut hair framed her face in soft waves, her laughter floating through the air like music he once knew by heart. Her smile was warm, untouched by the cold edges life sometimes handed out. But that wasn't what stopped him cold. Sitting beside her were 3 children, 2 identical boys and a little girl, all of them brimming with life, their bright eyes reflecting the same stubborn spark he once admired in Hannah. But it wasn't the children's playfulness that sent Ethan's world spiraling. It was the jawlines, the piercing blue eyes, the unmistakable resemblance. His glass thudded onto the table. They're mine. His heart thundered in his chest as the brutal realization took root. 3 children, 3 years, and he had never known. The carefully constructed walls of his existence cracked in that instant. Ethan barely remembered moving, his body propelled by sheer instinct as he crossed the restaurant. Conversations around him blurred into meaningless noise as he honed in on the table where Hannah sat, now looking up at him with a stunned expression. Ethan, her voice was soft but laced with unease. He didn't waste time. Are they mine? The question hung in the air, heavy, dangerous, and raw. Hannah's breath hitched. For a fleeting moment, he saw it. Fear, guilt, and something deeper. She bit her lip, hesitating, but the truth was undeniable. She nodded. Yes, Ethan, they're yours. The words detonated in his mind. Everything tilted. 3 years, 3 lives I missed. The children continued chatting, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing between the adults. But Ethan's focus was a whirlwind. His pulse raced, a brutal mix of rage, regret, and something he couldn't quite name. You never told me, he rasped. I tried. Hannah's voice cracked. I called, I left messages. But you, she stopped, swallowing hard. You never answered. He cursed under his breath. Back then, his ambition had been all-consuming. He'd ignored calls he assumed were desperate pleas for closure. But this had never crossed his mind. I want to meet them, he demanded. Hannah hesitated, her protective instincts radiating off her. They don't know you. You can't just. They're mine. Ethan interrupted, voice rough with emotion. I lost 3 years. I won't lose more. She studied him, measuring his sincerity before sighing deeply. Tomorrow, noon, at the park near my place. And just like that, she left with the children, his children, and Ethan stood there, a man who had built an empire, now clueless about the most important role of his life. The next day, Ethan sat on a bench at the park, heart racing in a way that boardroom deals never could. He spotted them instantly. Hannah walking cautiously toward him, the children trailing beside her. Hi, he offered awkwardly. The more outgoing twin, Lucas, grinned. You're the guy from the restaurant. Lucas, Hannah warned softly. Ethan chuckled despite himself. Yeah, I am. The other boy, Noah, eyed him warily, arms crossed over his small chest. Who are you? That question cut deep. Ethan. I'd like to get to know you. Lucas perked up. You want to race? Absolutely. The boy shot off like a rocket, laughter trailing behind him. Noah, however, remained skeptical, his guarded expression a mirror of Ethan's own as a child. Then there was the little girl, Mia. She clung to Hannah's hand, her big brown eyes flickering between curiosity and caution. "She's shy," Hannah whispered. Ethan nodded, understanding. This wouldn't be easy, but it was a start. Over the following weeks, Ethan showed up every single day. He played soccer with Lucas, read picture books to Mia, even the same one on repeat, and faced Noah's cold stares with patience he never knew he had. But Noah was the hardest. "Are you going to leave again?" the boy asked one evening, his voice barely above a whisper. Ethan's heart cracked. "No, never again." Noah didn't believe him. Not yet, but it was a start. Hannah remained on the sidelines, watching, her heart guarded. But over time, the tension lessened. Slightly. One night, after Ethan had spent hours with the kids, she met him at the front door. "You're really trying," she admitted. "I'm not perfect," Ethan confessed, "but I want to be here. For them. And for you." Hannah hesitated, the air thick with unresolved feelings. "Don't make promises you can't keep." "I won't," he vowed. But words weren't enough. A broken promise. The turning point came when Ethan promised to take the kids to the aquarium and failed. A last-minute business emergency pulled him away, and by the time he showed up at Hannah's apartment, the damage was done. Lucas was heartbroken. Mia clung to Hannah in confusion. And Noah? His stare was ice-cold. "You're just like before," the boy spat. Ethan tried to explain, but Hannah cut him off. "Go home, Ethan." And for the first time, he realized he might have blown it for good. The redemption. But Ethan wasn't the man he used to be. That same night, when Hannah's worried call about Noah's sudden fever came, he was there. All night. Fetching cold compresses, holding Mia when she got scared, making Lucas laugh despite his worry. By morning, Noah's fever broke. And when he woke up and saw Ethan still there, a soft "you stayed" escaped his lips. Ethan smiled, his throat tight. "I told you, buddy. I'm not going anywhere." A new beginning. Days blurred into weeks. The children, even Noah, began to trust him. Slowly. But Hannah? She was the final puzzle piece. Late one evening, after a family dinner, she lingered by the door as Ethan prepared to leave. "You've changed," she said quietly. "I had to," Ethan replied. "For them. For you." She hesitated, then softly added, "Stay. For dinner." It wasn't a full reconciliation, but it was something. A start. And for Ethan Cole, who once thought control was everything, this messy, unpredictable, beautiful chaos was what really mattered.